Hello, welcome to another track guide video. I thought I'd do Snetterton since I've just done a race on it last night and I've been practicing quite a bit in the days leading up to it. So I'm going to do, like I did with the last one, I'm going to do a very slow drive around and explain what I do at each corner. So maybe it'll help. So this is what I've found so far. Let's fire at the engine. There we go. Okay, so doing this in the Ferrari since I was racing this last night. Right, so braking point for the first corner. Halfway in between the 1 and the arrow. And around about here. And you're not braking for very long, you just want to scrub a little speed off and get good turn in. So that you get a good line. It's kind of a tricky corner this, you have to really practice it a lot. And it's kind of a double apex, it's not a completely smooth corner. But when you're turning in, you've got to be very careful of the bumps on this track. I try not to go over this. You go on this a little bit, it's not too bad, but if you go further onto this is just so bumpy that it'll send you off. And plus, when you get to this point here, you can see that it's like a big speed ramp. If you hit that, most of the time it'll cause you to spin right here. Even going over it slow, you can see how bad that is. If you hit that at speed, you're going off, definitely, and you might take someone with you if you've got a car near you. So, yeah, just hug the inside as best you can. Get on the power as early as you can, and get to allow the downforce to pin you round. And then also be careful on the exit here. It's not too bad clipping this, just get off it as soon as you can. And this extra bit of green on the left here, don't look at that as something to use. Don't go near it, because you can see from here how bumpy that area of the track is. And if you go on the grass, this is the most uneven grass known to man. It's very hard to get back on because you're just constantly bouncing and getting airborne. So, assuming you got round that corner. In the Ferrari, I do it in third, by the way. Sorry, I do it in fourth in the Ferrari. The only time I'll drop to third is if I've gone in a bit hot and just want a little extra turning. Other cars, most of them are fourth gear. AMG maybe third, I'm not sure, I haven't actually driven it here. So, braking point for the hairpin. In the Ferrari, in most cars, like around the 2 board. In the Ferrari, I wait until I'm on the black stuff. So about here. You might be able to brake a little later. Because most cars that don't have bad turbo lag can just turn in and hug the inside really tight and just punch out the corner. In the Ferrari, because you've got to use a lot of TC, when you're turning and accelerating in first, it's just holding you back. You can see the TC's just lit up. So it kind of pays to go a little deeper into this and then get the car straightened up as soon as possible. Get that steering opened up so that you can floor it without the TC hindering you too much. And then just use all of this on the exit. I try not to go over this unless you've gone wide and have to. If you touch it, get back on the track as quick as you can. Don't ride it for long. So up into third. Brake somewhere around here. This is just a light trail brake to turn in. Then get inside as much as you can and get on the power really early. Getting on, just clipping this for the exit. Get off that as soon as you can. It's kind of a standard rule for this whole track. When you're using exit rumble strips, don't stay on them too long. Just get straight off them, because it's so bumpy if you're on them too long and you end up touching the grass. Braking point for here again, the dark tread marks. You can brake at the 1. Depends on what ABS you've got set. Ferrari's very good on the brakes. If you've got ABS 1, you can use the 1. And this hairpin, it's not that much of a hairpin, but again, straightening it up on the exit as quick as you can so that you can stop the TC kicking in is, again, the best thing to do. Lowering it up into the next corner. Just a very slight touch of the brake to turn in and get on the power as soon as you can. Flipping the rumble strip on the way out. And then get it over this side as soon as you can. And then brake just before that board. And here can be tricky. When you go to enter this corner, I try and take a chunk of it like that. Now, don't hug the outside as you're exiting this bend because you're going to cover more track distance, which loses time. Don't try and hug it too tight either. Just follow this around smoothly and around the middle of the track, and then aim straight from here. Now you can see the green part coming up. That you want to use. So get on that, and then when you come off in third at speed, just touch the brake to help the turn in, and then you've got to be a little bit patient here getting on the power so you don't go too wide. It's kind of it's probably the most tricky corner on the track, because if you go too wide over here on the exit, again, it's just so bumpy over here. And if you were to hang on to this until this point, it's just so uneven, the grass here. So here we go. Now this next corner, it's got 2 braking stages to it. So braking marker to be safe is the 1 board. If you want to really extract everything out of this corner, you can brake at the bridge. Dropping it into third. Braking and turning, but then here, let off the brake. Let it roll, and as soon as you've got the car straight, hit the brakes really hard then. That's your main braking point. And then as you're lifting off, keep hold of a little trail brake to get a bit of turn in, and floor it in second. And don't clip that sausage curb on the inside. You can touch that on the outside, just don't stay on it. Here, you don't need to brake at all. This is a bit of a strange corner. You can't really see it until you're on it. Now, if I park here. Now, the rumble strip is kind of the highest point of the corner. So just to the left of the rumble strip, I don't know how well you can see this, but there's a very big dip. Now, if you hit that at speed, occasionally it can get the back end out a little bit. Not hard to catch, but you'll lose a bit of time. If you take too much to the inside and touch that dirt, then you're probably going to end up going off. So the best place to aim for this corner is get your right wheels perfectly on the rumble strip. Just don't take too much, so you don't get a horrible bounce. It takes a bit of practice, and I can't get it every lap. It's one of those things you really have to feel out, but you can really carry a lot of speed around this corner. Now this next one, it's just a long swooping bend, and there's 2 ways of doing this. You can either double apex it, which can give you a better line for the final corner, and therefore a little bit more speed on the straight. Or you can hug the inside around the whole thing, and it's slightly trickier to get a good exit. Yeah. Whichever feels comfortable to you, just do it. So you come out wide a little bit, then go in tight. Braking into second. Second feels like it's a bit sluggish out of this corner, the Ferrari, but if you try it in first, you'll see that you start losing a bit of time. And then just as tight as you can there without clipping the sausage. And then don't go too far on that on the exit, because again, that is extremely bumpy. Right, so I'm going to do a few laps, and I'll try and put that into practice. So fresh tyres, nicely warmed up. Let's go for a drive. Right. Like in single player, that you can just go flat out of the pit. than TC4 on this track. It's a little bit more feisty than TC5, but it does help get out the corners a little better. See how bumpy that is when you go over too much of it. This bit here, you can either go around it in first or second. I just let the situation dictate what gear I should be in for that one. I took a little bit too much of the curb then. Right, see if I can do a couple of laps now. The tyres aren't quite up to pressure, but they'll be alright. Yeah, so as soon as you're on the exit curb, just come off them as soon as you can, just to be safe. Very tricky track, to be fair. Little wide there. Fine. Lap. PC held me back a bit there. Bad line into there, so I had to drop to first. Not the greatest lap, a few mistakes, but still into the 45s. Here you go. So with Ferrari, I aim to try and get around 27 psi on the front and about 26.8 on the back. Just personal preference. So yeah, that's that. I'm not particularly fast here, but I have learnt a fair bit from practicing over this last week, and it's not bad. I quite like it. It's pretty hard to race on. Yeah, very technical. It's deceptively hard. It's much harder than well, most of the track. I think this is probably one of the hardest tracks. Mostly because of each of the runoffs on exiting each corner, because of how dangerous they can all be. So you can end up going off extremely easily. But if you're very careful on those exit rumble strips, you'll be fine. Just just drive carefully and sort of overtaking places. There's not many places to overtake. You generally on the way into the hairpin. If you can outbrake someone, that's not a bad overtaking spot. Can overtake on the main straight, but it's not that long. And I think that's about it. So, yeah, hopefully this is of help to some of you. And I'll do another one next week. I might do the same thing for the next track. We've got Kyle Army coming up next in the league. But that's 2 weeks away now because it's a week off next week. So I might just do another track next week. Pick one of the ones that we've done in the league so far. So yeah, I'll let you guys go. And thanks for watching. And I shall see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.